Good morning, folks. Chuck Sheely here with Making Music Magazine, and we're here today with another wonderful musician. Today we have Lisa Reagan, who is a opera singer, pop singer, and now a chant singer. She was with the Washington National Opera for 20 years. Is that right?
Yes.
Right. So she's here today to talk to us about a new project called Shania. Am I saying that right? Shania?
You are.
That's okay. And which, by the way, I saw all the videos, magnificent music, and beautiful productions. I really enjoyed it. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Lisa Reagan.
Yay. Good morning.
Good morning.
I really enjoyed your show. I've watched a lot of the videos and they're great.
Thank you so much. So, well, let's jump right in. So Shania is your big deal at the moment. That's on the hot burner right now. So it's a product of a unique and very interesting working friendship that you have with Suzanne Jackson. Yes?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And so what's the synthesis of how this all came about? I read a little bit about it, but please share with us how that transpired.
So Suzanne and I were in grad school together. We were both studying opera at the University of Maryland. They have an opera studio there that was fantastic. And so we did that, and then we both joined the Washington National Opera the same year. So we were together often, and she was very much into yoga, and not me as much then, but then as time went on, I started doing yoga. We were both chanting and doing yoga and didn't really know that. So one day we just started talking about chanting, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, that's my favorite chant." I said, "That's my favorite chant." And it was the Sari Sasa. So that was kind of why that's a special thing for us. And anyway, she and I just started singing together, practicing yoga together, chanting together. And one day we said, hey, it'd be cool to do an album together. We sung opera together all these years. So it'd be fun to do an album together of chant music.
So your professional story, of course, begins with opera. And then somewhere along the line, you did a 180 and you made a pop record. And
well, really? Yes, right? That's right. I really started singing in the church before opera. I was actually a pianist. I started piano when I was 3 years old, started studying. And I studied all the way through to college. And I always thought of myself sort of as pianist. And then one day I got a solo at the church for a Christmas program, and everybody said I sang really well. And I'd always sang, everybody in my family sang, but we didn't think anything of it. And then when I got to college, I was encouraged to study voice too. And then once I started studying, I was encouraged to study classically and to sing opera. And so that just kept going. And so then I moved to Washington, D.C., and I studied with the teacher, and she said, you really need to audition for the opera. It's like, okay. So she prepared me for it, and I got in, and then I went into that world, which is a fantastic world, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that world. From a practical point of view, I've always been a rock and roll, pop guy. Yeah. But it's always been very interesting to me, that world. So what do you enjoy about that world?
Well, it's I call it like power singing. You have to be really an athlete to do it. Yeah. And you have to use your whole body to sing opera. It's from the toes up. And, when you're preparing to go for high note, I think of it like someone who's going to throw a football or is going to, play golf, and they want that ball to go in a certain spot. That's the way you have to think about singing. So you have to do all this physical training to prepare your body so you can execute when you need to.
Just be at that note.
Yeah, just be at that note, and you've got to let that note go and let it fly to the back of the room. And then, so that's exciting, but you also have with it the beautiful music, that these great composers, geniuses, Puccini and Verdi, and it's just so inspiring to sing these incredible songs and to hear the singers all around you. That was one of the things about being at the opera that's so exciting, is just all that singing around your body. very. And then, you know, in the opera, there's no microphones. So you're just singing into
Yeah.
all the musicians are in the pit, and they don't have any microphones. So it's just welling up from the pit. And it's just sort of a surround sound experience for you, your
Yeah.
whole body, you know?
Hmm.
It's really fun.
It's a magnificent experience to go see something like that live. The room shakes in a different way. The vibration is different when it's
Yeah,
unamplified like that, and there's just all those strings and mass, you know, and
I know, right?
it feels great. Yeah, I love that. I go for that just as much as I go for the listening. So.
Oh, I agree with you. And that's why, you know, opera houses are acoustically built a certain way, so you get that experience.
Hmm. So then you went. So then your career shifted a little bit, and you started to play some songs from popular favorites that comes out of our '70s records collection,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
that was enjoyable too. I listened to that. That was a lot of fun. What a change! That's something you don't see opera singers do often. And then you turn around and take another 180 and go into chant music, which is a completely different animal altogether. Like, how did that? How do you get from that point A to point B to point wherever? You know,
That's
I
a
mean,
good.
it's a very unique story. I haven't heard. I've been hanging out with musicians my whole life, and I haven't heard this scenario yet.
Yeah. Well, so my voice is an instrument, right? And I can have, in opera singing, it's a very specific way of using the voice. So I feel like um, that is like in that category over there. And it's just a way of literally using your body. And I love to sing jazz too. So I would sing jazz gigs, you know, on the side, like at little clubs and stuff, at the same time as singing the opera. It's just two different parts of my voice. And I thought that was really fun. I love improvising. And so when you sing more, I say more jazz style, you just put more air through the sound. So it's not so, it's like having a string that's really tight, like a violin, it's really taut. And then jazz felt a little bit looser to me, just a little more air coming through instead of being held in the body like you do in opera. So those two different styles were something I kind of went back and forth all the time. And being a working musician, I had to be versatile because I did, you know, I sang in an opera quartet, and then I sang at a church. I was a singer at an Episcopal church for many years, and then of course the opera. And then I also sang like at this jazz, you know, little gigs with like in standards and things like that from the 40s. I loved all those, you know, all those songs. So it just, that world, I could kind of do different things with my voice, and I enjoyed all of it. Now, if I were going to sing a very difficult opera that has, let's say, a lot of, like Turandot or something is really, really hard, challenging, I couldn't really go too much into the jazz world right during that time because it's just too hard. It's like two different trainings. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking technically,
Mm-hmm.
um, but I could do it. I just had to be kind of strategic about it.
Cool. So you also sang a song. I bet our folks don't know this, but you were Miss Oklahoma in a U.S. Miss America pageant in 1975.
Yes, I was.
I'll bet you $10 I watched that episode and saw you sing it, because as kids in the '70s in America, that was a huge deal. And so
Oh,
the whole family sat around watching
oh
these movies.
yes, it was a big deal.
What did you sing on that show?
Well, you know, I sang, it's called the Time Medley that my friend put together for me. One of the songs was Time and Love. I don't know if you remember that song. It was sort of a jazz arrangement. And what I had sung uh, at the other pageant, the Miss Oklahoma pageant before I got there, was My Man from Funny Girl. And I really wanted to sing My Man again, but then they decided I should sing this other song. So I don't even remember. I know there was Time and Love, and there's different, we put like 3 songs together, and I did choreography. And anyway, it was fun. I was really young to be there. I felt very, I don't know, I got up there and all the girls were so glamorous and they were in college, you know, and I was just out of high school. It's like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing here. But it paid for my college though.
Sure.
Paid for
Yeah.
all my college, which was really important to me because I went to a private university which had the best music school, but my parents couldn't really afford it. So it actually ended up being incredibly valuable to me to be able to participate in that.
I can only imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're a teenager on a TV show that's being watched by the whole world, pretty much.
Mhm.
That would have my knees shaking for you. So
Well, it did. I just know I was so, I can't even imagine. I wish I could see me in the interview. I was just so nervous. I don't even know if I said anything. Oh my goodness. Well, anyway,
yeah.
but it was a great
Oh,
experience, and it kind of, it gave me a launching pad sort of for the rest of my life as far as being able to get me out into the world and performing a lot and meeting people and that thing. Plus the,
certainly. So I would imagine it paved part of the way for you to get onto the 20 years with the Washington National Opera.
it did, yeah.
So
Yeah.
speaking of big stages to take, what's it like when you take a stage like that?
Well, that's very overwhelming at first. I'll never forget my first opera. And also another really memorable time was Placido Domingo came to become our director there. And I just never forget because he was actually, I think we did Pagliacci, I think, no, Il Guarani. Anyway, when he came onto the stage, the energy around him, he's so magnetic and his arm
Mm-hmm.
so huge, right? And we were all standing there like, oh my gosh, we can't believe we're standing next to Placido Domingo and we're singing with him and he's right there. And it's pretty, um, it's, it's, it's pretty awe-inspiring, I have to say. And it's also wonderful to participate with the audience, to have that, that the Kennedy Center Opera House is so beautiful, and to have the audience out there really participating with you. Do you know what I mean? Like they're
Yes.
with you. You're doing this together. It's not
That's
just
why I show up to my own gig, is for
right.
that fellowship. I'm in it for the
Fellowship.
fellowship, you know.
Absolutely. And this is why I'm so sad right now about the performing arts in this pandemic, because
Hmm.
that's a vital thing for our hearts as humans, I believe. Just that sharing, you know.
Yeah, it certainly is a challenging uh, situation and condition right now, for sure.
So challenging.
You know.
So challenging. But anyway, to answer your question I didn't answer a second ago, I'd always been interested in metaphysical things, in spiritual things. I've been a composer most of my life, and I always felt like, the music just sort of came down and dropped in, and I'd be always felt kind of bent in that direction, mystery. And so I loved, when I started studying yoga, I really loved the chanting aspect. And being a singer, I just felt like I understood what it was about to really chant, to chant my whole body, in other words. So I it did that by, on my own, by myself, just in classes and stuff, yoga classes. At the end we chant, and I just loved it so much. That's sort of how it finally came around to uh, going this direction. And then, of course, we did our first chant album with Thomas Barkey, and then the second one with Jamshid Sharifi. And in both of those albums, it seemed stylistically like it should be softer, not that real edged opera sound, but just, I don't know, softer is the only word I can think of right now. But then we thought it'd be interesting to put a little bit of a classical line over the top of some of the chants, just to give it, I don't know, some kind of, first of all, we thought it was really pretty. And then also just to express that other part of our world a little bit in our music. Do you know what I mean?
I do, and I was aware of that. You know, I noticed right off the bat that how smooth the sound production is, and then that's matched in the visual as well. Everything is decidedly smooth, deliberately smooth, it seems, and it really supports the idea. And then to hear, I've listened to a lot of chant music
Yeah.
and world music and places that it comes from, whether it's from North Africa or the East or Celtic kind of things. And to hear classical lines become sewn in, to me, is fun, you know, because
Yeah.
I can recognize it, so that's fun. And be somebody doing something else is like, it's like trying new food. You know, it's like just a slightly different way of doing it. So yes, I personally appreciated that very much.
Yeah.
Was there anything else particularly special about this, the recording of Shania? Notable.
Yes, very much so. So Suzanne and I knew that our voices sounded really good together, and we loved doing our first Chant album. And I felt like it would be interesting to do another one, but maybe do it a little, you know, just have a different bend on it, you know, not jazz or world. I didn't know exactly what, but I thought, let's just do another and make it slightly different. And I'd heard Jamsheed's production on several different albums. And one of my favorite Chant duos is Mirabai Seba. And I love all their stuff. There's this one album I kept listening to over and over again. I was like, I've got to find this guy, Jamsheed Sharifi, because he's amazing. I love what he's done with their music, and it's so intriguing and so musical and mysterious. And so I had to hunt for him for 2 years. I couldn't find him. I mean, you know, you can write people, but if they don't know you, it's not like they're going to write back. So I ended up finally knowing someone who had played in a band with Sonatum Carr, and Sonatum had just done a recording with Jamsheed, and so she made the introduction. So I was able to finally get in touch with him and say, I'd love to hire you and work on this project with you. And gratefully, he said yes. And so we have this beautiful Shunya album, which we all three wrote together, Suzanne and Jamsheed and I. Well, it was fun to do, you know. I mean, it's kind of difficult to write with someone you've never written with, but it was a great journey. So and he brings in a world, you know, music flavor that I would not have known how to do. And that I feel like that made our record special. His talent, kind of our voice combinations, the way we approached the chants, and then these amazing musicians that Jamsheed knows personally, that he can pick up the phone and call and say, hey, will you play in this recording? That's a huge plus. We had some amazing players. And then Hassan singing, which was another great gift, for sure.
It's a remarkable sound.
Thank you.
I wish you much success with that.
Thank you so much. We're proud of it.
Yeah, good. You should be. Okay, well, thanks very much, Lisa, for stopping by and visiting with us here at Making Music today. It's a true treat to have you with us.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure to be here, and it's nice to meet you, sort of.
Please tell our folks your web address and how to stay in touch with you and so on.
Okay, yes, it's shuniasound.com. That's SHUNIA sound SOUND.com.
Beautiful. All right, folks. Well, if you're having fun, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to our YouTube, and tell everybody you know about our cool little thing here at Making Music Magazine. Get out there, keep practicing, keep the love alive with your music, and have a great day.